Hi lovelies, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about mental health, my own journey with mental health and wellness, and my own experience managing with anxiety. So I have so many different tips and tools. My toolbox is constantly growing and I wanted to share with you, I've written down 10. Yeah, there are 10 different things that I've been doing since probably my early 20s, late teens that have really worked for me. Now I know that different techniques work for different people, so I'm not suggesting that you have to go and do all these things, but I do get asked a lot how to manage stress, anxiety, if you're going through a really challenging time. I have a lot of people asking me through Instagram, in direct message and emails, like how to cope in different strategies. So I thought I would make an updated video about this topic, so let's get straight into it. Also, today's tea of choice is cacao cinnamon spice in my lovely grateful mug, if anyone asks, because I know that I often film my videos and I'm having tea, so this is my new favourite tea. Comment down below if you're a tea or a coffee drinker. Okay, the first thing I want to talk to you all about is going to be no surprise, but one of the ways that I have really helped to get on top of my own anxiety and reduce my overall stress levels is yoga. It is the best thing. Since I started yoga about I started practicing yoga 6 years ago and it has really been life-changing. It has taught me so many different things, from how to practice more mindfulness, how to be more in my body, how to practice more patience, self-compassion, self-love and self-care, even a lot of really helpful breathing techniques. So one of my favorite ways to just still my mind is to get out of my head and into my body, and yoga has been an amazing way to do that. Another technique I have shared before, and I made a little IGTV. If you're not following me on Instagram at Study with Jess, you can go follow me there for more tips and resources. But I learnt from a wonderful psychologist when I was living up in Sydney with Adam this technique called RAIN. So RAIN stands for Recognize, Acknowledge, Investigate and Nurture. So recognize, I'm feeling really anxious right now. Acknowledge or accept, you know what? I give myself permission to have this feeling. It's been a really turbulent week or period. Investigate, where do I feel this feeling in my body? Do I feel like my body's trembling and my teeth are chattering, or I've got this constriction in my throat, or my breathing is really shallow? And then nurture, say to yourself, what do I need right now? And that is the most important question you can ever ask yourself, is what do I need? Make sure to self-soothe and make sure that you're meeting your own needs. Allow yourself to go through these waves of emotion, but then know how to deal with them on your own as well. And that might actually be not necessarily dealing with it on your own, but saying, I know what I need, so I'm gonna pick up the phone and ring my friend or ring a family member, or curl up on the couch with a cup of tea and let myself have a really slow, relaxing day. Whatever it is, just make sure that you do that for yourself. The next thing that's really helped me, I did touch on this when I talked about yoga, but it's breathing techniques. So I might actually make a dedicated video sharing some of my favorite ways to de-stress using different effective breathing techniques and like yogic breathing. But I just think that deep belly breathing, abdomen breathing, making sure that you're slowing down your breathing and lengthening your exhalations to be longer than your inhalations can really help to reduce any anxiety that comes on. And you can do it anywhere, anytime, in the middle of an exam, in the middle of the street, in the car, at home, in bed. It's just, you know, a beautiful, beautiful way to self-soothe, and it is in your back pocket at all times. I also think that I, at times, can be my own worst enemy and I try and do too much. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect, or at least I definitely have in the past. So having a lifestyle change overall and just really working through my own perfectionist traits has been a big thing for me in reducing my overall anxiety, because the pressure to be perfect is like a mountain of anxiety, just living and breathing and breeding on your shoulders. So that's been a really big thing for me, and really just allowing myself to be okay with the fact that I can do anything, but I can't do everything. I can't get everything done, and not everything has to get done. So I think the busier our lives are, the more stressed and anxious we can become. So it's really important to take stock of each area of your life, make sure that it is serving you and working optimally, and that you're not trying to spread yourself too thin. All right, the fifth and sixth thing, I'm sort of gonna merge them into one actually, but it's seeing a psychologist. So let's just break down this whole stigma of the mental health sector and seeing a therapist and a psychologist. And I don't know why I said therapist in inverted commas, it's just that I don't really like to say therapist, I'd rather say psychologist. I think therapist has a bit of a negative connotation attached to it. But seeing a psychologist since I was 19 has been really helpful, because sometimes you need, and whether it's a psychologist or even a life coach or a mentor, someone who can sit across from you objectively and get you to become aware of different things that might be holding you back and not serving you, or negative behaviors and patterns that are actually self-sabotaging. So I have done CBT in the past. I found it helpful at the time. I just didn't actually, for me, see long-term changes. One thing that has been so incredibly freeing, and again, I know it depends on the person and what works for you. So again, I'm not saying you have to go and do this, but I have been practicing something called AMDR. So AMDR stands for eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. So a really brief but simple explanation for what is EMDR is, as you are reprocessing unhealed old wounds, previous childhood memories, or memories that have happened to you recently but that have been quite sticky, perhaps traumatic, or just particularly difficult, you're going to be moving your eyes left to right, and it just helps to stimulate different parts of the brain, and somehow it helps you to shift those negative emotions, and yeah, you desensitize to a lot of that pain and those old patterns that have been holding you back. So if you're interested in EMDR, I would go and look it up for yourself, because I'm gonna do a terrible job of explaining it, but it is the only form of therapy that's really helped me. In saying that, I'm not saying it's the only form of therapy that works, it's just what's worked for me. I also think that just because technology can be really helpful these days and we have this access to information so easily at our fingertips, I wanted to just include a few apps that I really like. So as you know, I always talk about the Calm app, Smiling Mind, another mindfulness meditation app, and another one that I've used for a while is called Anxiety Relief, and that one's based on EMDR. Of course, what would this video be if I didn't talk about some of my favorite books that have been absolutely life-changing and helped me work through my own challenges around mental health. So one of my favorite authors for managing my anxiety, my perfectionist traits, my workaholic traits is Brené Brown. The Gifts of Imperfection is one of my favorite books. But if you didn't know, I actually have a mini book club or book recommendation list I've curated on my website, studywithjess.com. So if you head to my website, there's a little tab at the top on the homepage that says book club, and I share some of my favorite self-developmental books there, so check that out. Okay, for anyone that's been wanting a pet, I feel like you're all gonna go nag your parents to get one now. But I am listing Winston and getting a puppy as number 9 for how I have really reduced my overall anxiety. Not that a dog cures anxiety, but just having an animal in the home and looking or observing the way that they go about their days and that they really slow down is such a good reminder to also just pace ourselves throughout the day. They live in the present moment, they are always so happy, and if at any time I'm having a challenging day, I just thank my lucky stars for beautiful Winston, because he makes me laugh and smile every day so many times, and I don't even know how many more happy endorphins I've created since getting a dog. So if you want an animal, I won't lie, having a dog has been one of the best things for my mental health. So I like to have a little list written down, and it's all the sort of things I can do if ever I'm feeling overwhelmed, run down, burnt out, anxious, freaking out, just no longer centered in my true aligned self. And I just think that that's such a helpful thing that I've done for myself, and I have it written in my diary. I think I used to have it just as a general to-do list in my desk drawer at the top. So just something that you can always go to, because when you feel really consumed by your feelings and you feel like you've been washed to shore and smacked down by that wave of emotion, then it's really tricky to just come up with any solutions at that time. So having it all written down has really helped me, because I can just go and consult that list, and it's something that you might like to do as well. So just remember that you are so not alone in this, and it's really important to just open up the discussion around mental health, and that's why I am so passionate about just talking about well-being and mental health on this channel, as well as productivity and organisation, because it is important to have a well-rounded, happy and productive life. So just remember that you are not alone. There is always support, there is always someone there. So if you feel like life is getting too overwhelming and too tricky, please do reach out for more support and talk to family members, friends, counsellors, psychologists, helplines. There is just a range of resources out there for you nowadays. And if you want to check out one of my web series I filmed recently, not that recently, but if you haven't already watched Mindful, it's a documentary that I was part of. It's on my channel and it's all about mental health. So I will link that in the description box down below. Otherwise, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications. And actually, before we end this video, comment down below what is one thing you're grateful for or one thing that made you smile today, because I feel like that's a nice way to end this video and just spread some positivity. So enjoy, and I'll see you all next week with another video. Mwah! Bye, lovelies.